Exactly. Let's go into the living room. So we're on YouTube Live, and I'm just gonna make a video, kind of. Luna, let's go in the living room. Are you coming? Are you coming in the living room? Get out of that. Come on, let's go. Are you coming with me? Hello. Come on, it's nice in here. Alright, so basically, this is a warning to spiritual geezers. So I just put on my Instagram, someone messaged me and said, I think I'm speaking for the people when I want you to go back to normal. Basically, there's like, this is what I took a screenshot of this little message and I put it on my Instagram with a caption that said, since awakening, countless people have said this to me. And this is basically, they say, go back to normal, Baron. My name's Baron. They're like, go back to normal, like, when people used to rate you, when you was cooler, like, when you was normal, when you didn't lose the plot. And I was like, yeah, people, like, oh, since awakening, everyone says this to me. Right, this is important, yeah. So, yeah, loads of people have said that to me. Basically, they think that I've, like, gone off the rails, yeah, and I'm yet to return. As if there's, like, who I was is me, but I've, like, just had, like, a fuck up that I'll realize is a fuck up. I mean, I've realized it's a fuck up in some senses, but not, you can't completely. And this is what I'm saying here. So, look, this is important. When you awaken, yeah, you got to understand it's very diverse, the spiritual community. This is one of the deepest lessons I've learned, is that, like, it's not all one community necessarily. It is. We all fundamentally have, like, the same core of like values. But I'm not going to go into that. It's just that you think when you awaken, you have psychedelic experiences. You're very quick to think that you're awake and everyone else is asleep. Now, that might be the case, but it's deeper than that. Because what do you think it is, awakening? Does that just mean you know everything, does it? Or, like, you can have mystical and enlightenment experiences and groundbreaking insights. But, like, be careful, yeah? If you've only been on this path for, like, if it's only been getting to them depths or some shit where you're actually having, like, full blown. Well, for me, it really began mostly with, like, crazy doses of magic mushrooms very often, and just meditation and that. But I didn't do too much of that. It was mainly just psychedelics. But just be wary, yeah. That what I'm saying is the caption was like, oh, yo, G Block, how are you? I don't know how long I'll be on live, but basically, here's what I'm saying, is that when you awaken, yeah, like, this is what I done at the beginning. Basically, everyone tells me, go back to normal, yeah, go back to the normal you. And then I put as the caption, I was like, since awakening, everyone tells me to go back to normal. That's all I said. But I was making a warning, basically. If you read the title, what's it called? You might be awakened, but you're still a loser or some shit. What I'm saying is, in the early years of like when I started abusing psychedelics and that, like, you have awakenings, but I was saying, like, what do you think that actually means? And basically, you're very quick to think that you're woke and that no one else knows fuck all. And it's like, so if you're getting defensive going, oh, everyone thinks I'm crazy now, but I'm actually awake. Like, you all think I'm crazy. No, I'm not. You're the ones who's crazy. It's like, it's very likely that you are still crazy. Or, like, that most people are crazy, yeah. But it's like, don't think that you've, like, figured it all out, like, that quickly. Like, you do, it does feel like that, and it can feel like that. But it will evolve, definitely. Like, you'll look, you know how throughout your life you look back to 6 months ago and then you see that you were, like, chatting shit back in the day and you're like, oh, why did I think that? That evolves, like, forever, I think. So yes, you're awake, but it doesn't mean that everyone, like, that you'll still have loads of neuroses and shit, probably, maybe. Like, I mean, it depends, like, how full blown the awakening is, but You know what I mean? Just because when you can the process of awakening can be, there's like fundamental qualia like nature of reality awakening, but there's also just general awake, like you start realizing like there's like this process that happens to people, and especially if you're from cultures like I'm in the UK. Souls just went to piss. Uh, there's like, so the process of awakening, G Block, I think you'd agree, is somewhat like it's like when you're in the West and that, or not necessarily the West, but it's like you start questioning cultural norms and realize, especially you start realizing a lot about the food. And this, I know this isn't necessarily awakening, but it's like you basically, you know, like the whole scene on the internet of um people talking about like the whole general, like there seems to be common things like breath work, yoga, meditation, psychedelics, philosophy, epistemology, actualized.org, Alan Watts, Terence McKenna, and you stumble, you when you awaken somewhat, there's a facet to it that is like the intellectual awakening where you like start going back through like your past and questioning everything that you know or that you think you know, and then you stumble into like this whole community of people who like tell you that everything you know is a lie. That's what I do. That's what, you know what I mean? So I'm saying that because it's a warning and observation of, as I've been really full blast on this shit now for like over a year. Yeah, it's just about, but about awakening, where it's very easy to think when you stumble into this world of information and you find all these philosophers and teachers and stuff, and that, and about all these Buddhism and the fucking the Kabbalion and the Book of the Way or the Tao Te Ching or whatever the fuck, and you basically, it's like you figured it out, and you think, oh, I figured it out, and then like now I'm awake, and then everyone's like, what happened to you? Like you changed, and well, what you want about the food isn't going to kill you, and you're like, I don't know, it depends, but then basically you look at everyone and you're like, oh, everyone thinks I've gone crazy now. Not necessarily. It depends how you go about it, but everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I'm the awake one because everything they know is wrong. Like that is true, kind of, but you still are like at the beginning of the process. Like it still grows exponentially, and you will realize that. Like I was thinking this earlier, actually, today. I was sat on the sofa and I was like, 3 months ago, I felt like I didn't like. Do you ever feel like you constantly grow forward and like gain more knowledge? Where like you reflect on the previous months and you're like you don't feel like you knew efficient, like you was in a worse off position, as if you've grown and matured since then, therefore the previous you was at a disadvantage, and that was only like 3 months ago, 6 months ago. That happens forever, I think, in my observation. So some people just don't get that, they just sort of stagnant. I don't know if that's like literally NPC, they just don't evolve. Like 10 years later they're just like the same person. I don't know if that's just me, maybe it's just being self-centered, but I swear some man just don't. But I mean, I haven't really made any real, I mean, to be fair, that's what I started the video with. I've completely changed and people don't like that. But that's what I mean. It's like I can't just say, "Oh, I'm awake." Like you think you don't like me or whatever, or like you want me to go back to normal, but I'm awake and you're just still an NPC. But you might be awake now, but there's like a future version of you that's like, because there's like actual fundamental enlightenment, yeah, where it's just like no mind and shit like that. But then there's like the kind of other, like there's different facets to awakening where you just like there's qualia awakening, like I said, like sensation and touch and like proper nature of reality shit, like psychedelics and that. And then there's like intellectual realizations and like traumas and shit like that. What you saying? Yeah, man, I got on the path as a truth seeker. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then you stumble into this like community of people who like tell you like that everything you know isn't the case. Uh, and that basically is it. And then when that happens, you think everyone else is under the illusion and that you've like figured it out. And that might be the case for the most part, and you might be onto something, and you probably are, but it's like the first ways, like I don't know about you, but was your first like ways, like when you reflect on, what did you say you've been on the path? How long have you been on the path? Because when you first got on the path, was the first year not like uh different in nature, where like you have naive ways of spirituality? So that's what I'm saying. Like you are onto shit, but the whole field is so much more diverse. Like I met I met some spiritual girl, I won't disclose her name. Uh and she's spiritual, but she's much more like um what I gave the label in a category of that I thought she was more new age, but she wasn't a fan of that. I didn't say she subscribes to like it as a belief system or ideology or dogma, but I just mean like there's different ways of doing shit. There's actualize.org, yeah, Leo Gura, 2015 started watching Leo Gura. Yeah, that's what I'm on about. Me and you both. So in 2015, you so that's what I'm saying. So we got actualize.org, and then we have fucking, who do we have? There's like, when you really see the characters and the traits of the spiritual people, it's not like my friend who I told you earlier, who fucking killed himself when he had some awakening thing or whatever you want to deem it. Uh, his ways of spirituality were much more physical, where he would use like pain as like a like he'd do things he didn't want to do on purpose, like, and he'd like, it was more like cold showers and like doing mad like physical things. He was very fit. Yeah, there's so much going on in the spiritual community now, to be fair. Yeah, so this girl I met, she was all about like the tarot cards and the crystals and the fucking, but that's what I mean. It's like, what is it about? Like there's new age spirituality, and then there's, so what I'm saying is like, but every one of us, this is the thing, we're all spiritual people. A lot of us who are more naive and not more familiar think we're all on the same ground. That's not really the case. It's there's a lot of disagreement even within the spiritual community. So what the main point I'm trying to make is, when you stumble into the spiritual community, yeah, and you think now that you're awake, now I'm awake, everyone thinks I'm crazy. Like, yeah, you're onto something, but half of the shit that you're dabbling in is very immature in terms of your understanding of it. And then many things don't come till later. Like I didn't really look at the core of enlightenment until like a year into it, when I started really learning about no self, uh, what was it? No self, non-duality, and things of that nature. That took a while. But before that, it was like more about empowerment. Before that, it was about conspiracies. Like, this is the thing. People who are all about conspiracies think they're on the same page with the people who are all about no self awakening, kind of like find common ground because it's all in the same shit. The same, they talk about the same shit. So like, just because, so I talk about, say, both conspiracies and spirituality. But then if there's someone who only talks about conspiracies and someone who only talks spirituality, they think they're on the same ground because it's to do, you know what I mean, with the whole truth seeking. So just because you seek truth doesn't mean you seek truth in every domain and every dimension of spirituality. So you find the truth-seeking community, but you have certain biases to what you want to listen to. When I first got into it, I heard traumatic. That's when it began for me. When I was like 15 on the bus to school. And first it was a conspiracy theories that really caught my attention. But then like a year something down it evolved, and I started listening to more. It was saying about the psychedelics and the sacred geometry. And then I went on that rabbit hole, and then now I'm realizing more, I think, with maturity, that like it's more really about, I think, uh Well, I mean, I just took loads of psychedelics and they just kind of said it for me. I took them for like over a year. And then even that, it took like a year and a half for the mushrooms to like radically alter, and then quit weed, and then the different enlightenment experience, and like and it takes like even Leo Gura says it takes like 100 psychedelic trips, and I'm not telling anyone to do them YouTube before they punish me. But I'm not telling him. I mean, it takes like 100 trips to actually like you think you know about the psychedelic. This is what I mean. It takes so much time, and that is the case with the mushrooms and the psychedelics. Like it literally will take like 5 fucking years to even start to begin to understand them, or not necessarily. Like for me, it took like 3 years, and now mushrooms, I've like mastered them. I feel they still surprise me, but not like they used to. Uh, but then again, they evolve and they change. So I'm just saying, yeah, you may because when you begin the path, it's basically like almost impossible to get off if you really begin the path. So I'm saying just because you began the path doesn't mean that you know all of the nuances and all of the traps, and it doesn't mean that you're doing good with your development or fuck all just because you have like an awakening experience, or you know what I mean? Like you still have to integrate, not necessarily, but if you're all on about the diet and the conspiracy, like that's all good, but do you do anything with your fucking life, and do you hate your routine? You know what I mean? So it's I'm just making a point. It's more nuanced than yeah. But that's all I wanted to say. I thought I might make some videos, or just I'd go live like a little bit, but I don't think I'm gonna go live for too long today. I for some reason I feel like somewhat I need to there's a lyric of a Quadeca song. It's like I can't see without the cameras on, without a platform to be standing on. For some reason, like I know I say, oh, I'm gonna quit. Fuck, I'm so addicted to my phone. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Uh, it's not good right now. I need to fix the digital addiction. I'm just gonna become like empty of testosterone if I continue the way I am. God, fuck's sake. But that's it anyway. I think I'm gonna go now for the most part. But yeah, why need a break? You mean you? Why need a break? Uh, I need a break just because it just like literally the entire day. Yeah, you. Yeah, I know. I know, man. It's fucked. I need a break. I'm definitely like hooked on dopamine, I swear. Like for like 3 days now, I'm like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and then I'm gonna be taking action. But I wake up tomorrow and it just doesn't happen. And then like before I know it, like the day's fucked. It's ridiculous. Like I say, oh, this is the last joint now. I gotta get back on my shit. My whole life. This is what there's an Alan Watts lecture, and he talks about this quite good. He says, why is it in everybody's life that there's this constant voice that says, like, I need to improve? And it's just never leaves. But I feel like I do. I feel like that voice, like, yeah, I get it, but it's kind of valid. But is it because the internet tells me I do? Because I just watch so much like personal development. They're like, oh, you can't just be poor, bruv. You got to make that P, that dollar. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then I just put like a pressure on myself, and then it's just like this constant. You're living in production. I was gonna say that, yeah. That's what I was gonna like. That's what I realized the other day. It's like, because when I, like I said again, when I had that like spiritual girl round or whatever, I realized after she left that I was like so, um, like somewhat. I was in my head overthinking, just trying to like. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just shit with girls. But I wasn't actually, like it was a sick night, but it was just like I was just in this perpetual like trying to make sure the night goes good, you know what I mean? And because I was trying to like do that and like just have a sick night to the best of my ability, and kind of, like I kind of like killed it for my own experience because I wasn't really there. I was like half in, half out because I was like I don't know what it is, but that kind of ruins it though almost. Like it didn't. It was still sick, but it was like uh, like it can kill it in some circumstances because you're just like you'd be better if you just let go. And that's why drugs are good because they remove them filters. I always have them filters. Tell me if you like, what about you? When I'm sober or if I'm smoking weed, I have a million filters all the fucking time. And then I never really drink ever, really, not really. That was a lot of reallys. But when I do, or if I did, the filters just dissolve. And I'm just authentic and there's just like not really a concern for like how I'm perceived. But when I'm sober, it's like it's like this matrix I've built over years. It's like an ego. Is that what it is? That what it is? It's like the gates of the ego. That's it. It really is. It's like a defense mechanism. Like you just have so many filters and like. But yeah, that's what the present moment is really cool. Alright, I don't know if you've gone now. It says both of you have gone, but I'm gonna go now anyway. That was it. But I might do like a quick one of these like every now and then. Like we'll see, but I don't know if it's wise. I need a break, so I don't know why I'm on here because it's kind of ridiculous, really. There's a lot of stuff I need to do. My mental health is so fucking annoying to the point where like it just fucks me off because it just fucking jams and then it just destroys my fucking life. And then I'm like, oh no, not again. Like I just become like addicted to stupid shit, and then I'm just like, or I don't know. I hope it doesn't continue like that. But it's always been kind of shit. And then like, but I swear, like, because how do I know? A lot of it isn't just the phone. Because maybe as soon as I get rid of the phone, I'll just be sorted. But yeah, it's just like it just seems like beyond my ability almost, which is I'm sure not really the case and not really a useful perspective to have. But it just like kind of happens, and I just kind of watch it happen. Oh my god, that's weird to think about. Hmm. Goodbye.